It's after 12 is the time. Have a listen now to this, because this is the kind of class we're talking about here. This is nice, isn't it? This is Matthew Walters. He's our next guest. He's also known as Reductio, right? And he's bringing his music to the wonderful setting of Blackburn Cathedral next month. It's his take, really, on popular songs played on the organ. So he plays people like Hans Zimmer, also The Weeknd, Kate Bush, to name but a few. And I've been speaking to Matthew a little earlier. I asked him how easy it was to add modern-day music, a modern-day twist to an instrument that's been around for should we say a day or two now?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there is always a bit of pushback because some people are quite purist about the organ. But I think, you need to maintain the importance of tradition, but also have room for innovation as well.
Well, you've got a classical background. When you learn classical music in the way that you have done, what do tutors and people around you say? What do they say to you?
I mean, they're usually very encouraging because, they usually like that kind of music as well. But obviously, playing it on an organ is a bit different, but also it kind of shows the music in a different light, and especially music like ABBA, you actually see the kind of classical background of the music as well, because it fits so well on the organ.
Tell me a little bit about that, because we've heard so much about ABBA with the 50 years in recent times, in fact, over the last few days. Yeah. When you as a musician analyse that, because that has been so successful for half a century, and does it actually, a lot of their music, does it actually rely on classical principles?
Yeah, I think it does, absolutely. I think the band wrote a lot of their music inspired by Bach and by kind of classical influences. And you can hear it as well, like Lay All Your Love on Me. You can hear the kind of structure is very hymn-like. And when I play it on the organ, it sounds basically like a hymn. So you can hear the classical background, and I think that shines through in their music and in their writing.
You've been described as dynamic and innovative. Do you feel dynamic and innovative?
I do. I think so. I definitely feel innovative. I want to try and push the organ forward into a new light. And I think, playing modern music on the organ is something that's going to help that. Because I think that people will have this preconception of the organ as being something that you just play old music on, and it's something that's just for the older generation. But I think, playing more modern music is going to make younger people interested in it. I think that's really important.
There's always been a bit of show business about an organist, hasn't there? As they, in the old days when they come up through the floor in the cinemas and in dance halls and what have you, there was always a flourish there. They were always dressed immaculately, and they were always, when they were playing the keys, there was a little flourish at the end with their fingers and all this sort of thing. There has always been an element of showbiz about it, hasn't there?
My performances is kind of an entertainment in some sense, so I don't want to lose just the traditional aspect, but I definitely think that there's an element of entertainment, and when I perform, I like to see it as more of an entertainment performance rather than just an organ recital. So I have a section where I'm doing some classical music, then I have a section where I'm playing more modern music, some pop music, some film music.
You mentioned a little earlier you want to get young people more involved in enjoying the organ and the organ music. Is that possible in this day and age, do you think, given all that is available to young people? Yeah,
I think it is. I think people are searching for things that are novel. And I think, obviously, with things like TikTok, people's attentions are very distracted, and you have to fight quite hard to get that attention. But playing things like ABBA or playing more modern songs, Coldplay, all these things will draw younger people in. And, just playing traditional classical music isn't going to have the same appeal as playing modern songs. So you need to actually play the game and realise that if you want to get younger people interested, you're going to have to appeal to them in some sense.
So, you're on your way to Blackburn Cathedral. You're going to be in Blackburn Cathedral next month. What can we expect?
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing a bit of classical music, a bit of my own compositions, and then there'll be a lot of modern music as well. So some film music, people like Hans Zimmer, and then some pop music, Coldplay, ABBA, Kate Bush. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone. I like to keep basically all parts of my audience interested.
I think you'll manage it with that and what have you. Where do you see all of this going? I mean, do you just want to continue doing this, or do you want to play in increasingly bigger stages? And could you see yourself doing Wembley Stadium one day? Where do you see all this going?
Yeah, I mean, Wembley Stadium would be great. Just greater scales and just doing it to bigger and larger audiences. And I like to write my own music as well, so that's something that I want to develop as well, and be doing performances on my own competitions as well. That'd be brilliant.
You see, I could see you playing Wembley Stadium, but you'd have to have fireworks there, wouldn't you? You'd have to do the full light show, wouldn't you? You couldn't just sit there and play your organ. You'd want to make sure that everybody walked away knowing that they'd seen you.
Yeah, exactly. Go hard or go home. That's what it's got to be.
We look forward to seeing you next month in the Northwest. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Great. Absolutely great. And if you want to go and see him, Blackburn Cathedral very soon.
As you promised me that I was more than all the miles